Hello everyone, welcome back to our second weekly recap. And I'm saying that because I might change the name. It's new. So it might be like a sip and chat because sometimes I'd be drinking. Mom don't be drinking, like water and stuff.
Oh.
We don't have any wine currently. Or something, but anyways, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
So let's start talking. We're gonna first talk about the coronavirus because this week has been a slow news week. And it's been slow because either things been shut down, people been getting sick, or shows been getting canceled, aka shut down for right now. So to me, when things not started to get big, but like started to come to the forefront, was when the NBA was like, oh, you know, we're gonna have the games without players, right? And then I don't even know how many days later it was, probably like 2, 3, could have been a week, I don't know. But as soon as that Utah Jazz player caught the corona, they shut everything down.
But at the same time, we did touch on it, if you remember last week, because LeBron James was like, I'm not playing without fans. That's not what I do. It's like, nah, that's not what I do. Now it's been a change of heart, change of mind. And I think not just because the guy on the Utah Jazz caught the corona. And did you see what he did in the news conference, how careless he was?
Yeah.
He was all touching stuff. And
did he know he was sick at the time?
Well, that's why they escorted all the fans out the arena or told them not to come.
They told him not to come?
He was tested positive before the game. So, yes, he knew.
He was tested okay, hold on. Pause. Because I've been wondering why people have been like at his neck about things.
Yes.
So, hold on. He's been tested. He knew he was tested positive before he started playing?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was touching the podium, wherever they sit to do interviews. He's touching the mics and the tape recorders of all the reporters and stuff. And that's why he came back to apologize. He was like, pretty much said he didn't realize how serious it was. Well, what do you mean? They've been talking about this for months. And even if you haven't followed it since when it first came out from China, stuff like that, I mean, you've seen or heard the cruise ships and all that stuff. So you know it was getting larger and larger and larger. So, yeah, he was tested positive before the game. So after he tested positive, that's when the NBA decided they weren't going to hold the game. And then the next day or two, that's when the NBA decided they weren't having any games. Yeah.
That makes sense now why people has been saying stuff, because people have been like, oh, you know, he should get fired. Someone was like, he should get beat up, but you know, we don't condone violence over here.
No.
And I was just like,
well, you get beat up, you gotta touch him. You catching the virus.
But I was like, but what? I didn't think he knew. But now that I knew that he knew, I'm just like,
you didn't see the news conference? See, I'm the sports fan here. I love sports, but we'll touch on that in a little while. He was the only person other than the reporters in that room. Why do you think that is?
I don't watch.
Now you know.
I didn't know.
Now you know. So to me, it wasn't really a slow news week. It was a slow news week for those of you who may not watch the news. But the coronavirus dominated the news, so it wasn't slow because it was on every news channel outlet, whether you wanted to see it or not. Because Donald Trump was on TV, I think, every day. I didn't see the news yet today, but he was on at least Monday through Friday. So that's every day.
I did. It said that he got tested, but he didn't get the results back yet.
I mean, hey, as many people around him who's gotten sick, the dignitaries and things like that, is a possibility. And speaking of Donald Trump, did y'all see the news conference or see clips of it maybe on YouTube or Instagram? How it was yesterday on Friday, how they had news conference talk about the emergency benefits were being released. And he was shaking hands with people from the Walgreens, the Quest Diagnostic. Now, didn't the CDC number one thing said don't shake people's hands, stay 6 to 8 feet away?
I mean,
no, just no. No.
Well, anyways, since we're on the top of the president and stuff and the government, the Pentagon did pass a bill, or did they sign it?
The Congress.
Sign it, going to pass it because they don't have a choice but
the
to
Congress.
pass it. You know, y'all know somebody's signed a bill and then passed it.
Mm.
To give like sick leave
Yeah.
and unemployment and all this stuff, which is a good thing, which they
It is.
should be doing, because
Yeah.
like this is not the 1930s where we go back to recession, or is that the 1920s?
That was the Great Depression, not the recession. The recession was like 2008.
Exactly.
That was one of them. But no, the Depression and the recession, two different things. The Great Depression, where that was like during one of the wars, and you know.
But I'm saying the fact of displacement, like we can't displace nobody.
No, we shouldn't. And it shouldn't take a virus to help people out on a daily anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
It shouldn't at all. But you know, this goes to show, and this is only my opinion, that the government can do more than they be putting on.
That's true when they come together. When they come together. It shouldn't have to be a crisis for them to come together to draft things to do and work for the people, because we did vote them into office.
Right, and hopefully, you know, they can reinstate the pandemic office that they had.
Well, that's Donald. Don't get me started.
But anyways, I want to know how it's affecting you guys, because you always see like news conferences and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's only from like what our news reporter says from different states.
Yeah, local. You're local. What's
So
happening?
we don't really know what's happening there. So I want you guys to comment down below. But I'm going to tell you guys what's happening in Las Vegas, because it has been a trip. Let me tell you.
Tell them, girl.
They are shutting down the Strip. Now, I know some of y'all think the Strip is Las Vegas.
It's not.
It's not. There's still more places to go other than the Strip.
Right.
But they're definitely shutting down all the major day clubs, nightclubs. The MGM's getting shut down.
The MGM and MGM International. So if MGM is in, let's say,
I know they're definitely shutting down one of them.
Louisiana, different
like shutting
states.
them down completely.
Oh,
like closing the doors.
Well, here, I don't know if they're closed the doors completely, because, I mean, there's tourists here every day. Just like I'm sure in some of your cities, there's tourists there every day, too. But, like I said, day clubs, nightclubs, the buffets. I saw tourists on TV upset about that. They're like, we come here strictly for the buffet. I was like, oh, okay. When's the last time we was at a buffet?
A long time ago.
We don't. I mean, when you live in a tourist destination, we really don't do touristy things. Every blue moon, maybe a holiday, a birthday, or someone come to town. Outside of that, it's not. Don't be that serious.
But there are still people I see like still going out to like different like little clubs and stuff. They're not like local clubs, like on Town Square, where it's still tourist populated because it's by the Strip and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they don't know what Town Square is. Town Square is a big outdoor mall with different shops, restaurants,
Little bars and stuff.
movies.
So some stuff is still open, but I definitely want to give my heart out to the industry folks, because their money is off of us, the consumers. Like when I used to work at one, we didn't get paid much. It was minimum wage and off of tips. And we have to like hope and pray a lot of people come in. So I can only imagine what they're going through. Like I know some people were like, oh, they played a meme, like the Friday meme, like it's Friday, you ain't got no job, you ain't got nothing to do. And somebody was like, that is not funny.
I was just about to say that is not funny.
But they're like, it's the first Friday they had off in a long time.
It's not funny right now.
But yeah, that's what's basically going on in Las Vegas. I know that our energy places are giving people like free service until they can pay.
Yeah.
The gas places are, which is what they should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and schools haven't been shut down yet. We only had like one school.
There's two, but they're private schools, so, you know, that's a little different.
But I thought it was the church.
Well, the church is a private school.
Well, we got a couple of those shut down, but like the big, like the school district hasn't been shut down. And for my view and perspective, how this is affecting me, because I am a recently graduated college student, and when I tell you my butt was looking for a job since I graduated in December, I was looking for a job. I was getting interviews, and like I had some interviews on the Strip, but you know they all fell through. But maybe that was like God. He was like, girl, sit down, chill out for right now.
It's always God.
But I'm doing an accelerated right to licensure to be a teacher for the Clark County School District. And this is going to affect my pockets.
Well,
if this thing don't, you know, get calm down.
Yeah, but I mean, school's gonna start back up again in when? August.
August, but our training is like May to July. And we need the summer school kids.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out. But we have to have in-class teaching.
Oh.
So I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to work out some
It's going to work out.
How is it affecting you in your job?
On my job?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I happen to be one of the lucky people who actually works for the federal government, and it doesn't really affect me because I work from home 4 out of 5 days out of a week anyways, but now I'm working 5 out of 5 days a week. So I'm the lucky one with this. So, you know, I do feel for people, regardless of the job they're in, who may be losing their job for whatever reason, small business owners, small business employees, Walmart's, Target's, industry, whatever it is, wherever you work, you know, my heart do go out to you guys because that's not really a guaranteed paycheck. You know, working for the federal government it's a little easier because we have different standards and rules because we're, you know, under the government, but it's not really affecting me too much. I just pretty much work from home and go from there.
So when can you go back to work then?
What, in the office?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't be trying to be in the office when I do have to be in the office.
Well, when do you go back? When do they say you can go back?
The 1st, April 1st.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But this one thing I'm like really like wondering about, because last week I said the medicine, but now that's like really been full effect. Y'all are really taking up this toilet tissue.
You know what? I had a hard time buying toilet tissue today. And normally I get, you know, we get a few things, whatever, personal items, whatever, every couple weeks or so. So this just happened to be the week. I went to 5 different stores for some toilet tissue.
5 different stores?
5 different stores for some toilet tissue. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Like, if anything, I'm telling you, we are learning so much about this pandemic, not just like healthcare wise and what we need to do, but like community wise. And y'all are really exposing yourselves. Like, I don't know what y'all do in your household, but I know y'all need to wash your hands more than what y'all say y'all be doing. And I don't know why we need these little pamphlets that says to wash your hands 20 times for 20 seconds. I almost said 20 minutes. For 20 seconds. Like,
well, sometimes, you know, people just don't know. You have to remind people. Even though most people know common sense is to wash your hands, it is still up to the people at these organizations to remind you the quickest way to kill germs is to wash your hands. It's a reminder policy. So that's how I look at that. It's just like, you know, then you could say like, you know, as a side note here, why is there instructions on shampoo? Because there's clearly someone who's never used shampoo before. So.
Well, with all these things being postponed, the NFL draft is being postponed.
Oh my goodness.
Possibly.
The NFL draft, that's the sport thing, because I'm a huge sports fan. My team is in Texas. I'll let you figure out which one it is. It'll be on Ask Us, but I'm a diehard fan. But we have the Allegiant Stadium, which is now home of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, even though I'm a football fan, but not a fan of the Raiders, I still will go and tailgate with like-minded people because it's going to be a party. I mean, we're in Vegas, right? That draft has been planned for 2 years. It's going to be April 23rd through April 25th here in Las Vegas. And I'm here to tell you, my lip is going to quiver if the draft is canceled. But it's 6 weeks from now, so hopefully things have calmed down. The coronavirus, they have more of a handle on it. The peak has been reached, and now we're at a plateau. So if you come out to Vegas for the draft, if you're planning your trip, I'm going to be out there too.
I won't be there.
I'm going to be out there too.
I'm not going to be nowhere near. And my birthday's April 2nd, so I might be partying in the house.
What's wrong with that?
Might end up making a vlog about it and we can all party together.
Hey, we can have a good time if that's what go down.
So that's enough about the coronavirus. You know, it's still going to have more updates to come, and we are going to keep talking about it because it does affect all of us.
Everybody.
And one way to like exhaust all of this stuff is to actually talk to people about it. You know, just hear other people's perspectives. But I definitely want to hear what's going on in your state, in your city, because it's always better to hear from the people than the news.
Exactly.
You
But
know,
y'all be careful out there. Be careful.
So in other news, the baby. If you don't know who the baby is, he's a rapper, popular now and stuff. And you might know him because he's been on a couple of times in the news. So the baby, I'm gonna need you to keep your hands to yourself. That's just period.
Yeah.
Like you done put your hands on one too many people. Now, I guess it was all like fun and games, like, oh, the baby's serious, you know, you can't be running up on the baby like that or whatever. But, you know, you're a celebrity. Like, you're not like an unknown person coming up, and even if you were, it would still eventually get out. You're like a bona fide celebrity. And you putting your hands on people is just not the way.
I mean, did you see the girl? She had an interview on TMZ.
I did see the girl, and she said that she got a lawyer and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I would too. But then the baby and his people was like, "That's not even the girl."
How are they going to prove it's not the girl? Is there cameras inside the club?
He said he's willing to pay somebody who got the other angle to show what really happened.
Well,
that he was provoked.
Well, the thing is, you have a history of alleged putting your hands on people or people run up on you, and it doesn't look good. But we'll have to wait to see what happens.
I had to stop for a second because I forgot the microphone. You probably won't even hear a difference anyways, but I just like the microphone better because it just like bounce out the noise and like the voices. And if you want to know what microphone I'm using, it's commented in the description box.
I wouldn't have said nothing, but okay.
But anyways, so Harvey Weinstein, that man got 23 years.
Yes, he did.
Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
I didn't. I couldn't believe it.
What, you thought he was going to get off because... Why?
I didn't think he was going to get off. I thought he was probably going to get like, maybe like 5 years.
Oh.
And then like probation or whatever. Or they might plead like he's too old or something. Just something out the box.
He's too old. He's younger than Bill Cosby. He's clearly had a health...
He's old and he's fragile. He's frailing, you know.
Well, Bill is blind.
So they say.
I could see the cataract in a man's eyes.
But you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, but I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
Looks like this, but not like this.
Shout out Funky Dineva.
So yeah, I was really surprised about that, and I'm glad that he got those amount of years, you know, to give some vindication for the survivors who did go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a long time, even before I was born, you know, there's always been talks about how people have been doing stuff in Hollywood.
The casting couch.
And this is what, you know, started up to the Me Too movement to be in people's faces, even though people should have been concerned about it before in the first place, not when celebrities get attacked. But that's neither here nor there. But my point is, I'm very happy. This is definitely a step in our judicial system. And next he has to go to LA for his other cases. But he's lucky the corona's going on because they putting a stop to a whole lot of things. So he's been spared for right now.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, once you're in prison, because they took him right away, there's no spared when you're in there. He feels the effects of that. So whether he makes it out to LA or not, he's in. So there's no breaks. They're just going to transfer him to their prison.
Well, and then we have to give a big RIP to Floyd Mayweather's ex-wife.
Yes.
Found dead in a car at 40. Like, that's...
Young.
It's young. It's sad. I feel for the children. Him too, you know.
Me too.
Her family. Like, I just hope, you know, everything just comes together. I would say not to be tragic, but when something happens like that, it's always tragic.
Yeah.
You know? So I just want to give a big prayers out to them.
Yes.
And, you know, just to bring things up in a lighter mood, we're going to talk about life after lockup. Now, we wanted to do a review about this separately, but we decided not to because, like, it only had, like, a few episodes left, so we were like...
You know, I think the last episode is next Friday, Maybe we could do a review on it, or is it too late?
It's too late. We
Okay.
just gonna leave it in our little weekly recap, and when it comes back, hopefully it's gonna be season 3. We'll do it from there. But yeah, it's definitely getting popular. It's been on the Shade Room that I saw.
Was it?
It was. They were showing different little clips and stuff.
Let me guess. Sarah and Michael?
No, that was last week.
Oh, who?
This week was your girl.
Who?
Oh, I can't think of her name right now.
Andrea?
No. She wasn't even on this week.
There was a little small. That's good. I'm gonna miss her anyways. She is my least favorite person on the show. Lacey?
Yes.
Oh.
Lacey, John, and Shane.
Just, what'd they say? Because I didn't see it.
It was just a clip. They didn't say anything. It was just a clip.
Oh.
They give clips.
Sorry, Shade Room.
So, yeah, that was trifling.
I mean, which part? The clip? Or
Well,
Lacey?
We're talking about the show because we actually watched it.
We do watch it. I'm just trying to ask you, since I didn't see the clip.
It was the clip of when Lacey went outside after she was done arguing with Shane.
Oh, that was the end of the show. And then John walked up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be cracking next week. I'm looking forward to that.
Like, Lacey, she's bold. And Shane...
Lacey's been bold since the beginning of the show, because if you follow the show, you know that Lacey was engaged to John, but she got bored, so she met Shane in prison. Shane spent less time in there than John, so she connected more with Shane because he's younger and I guess cuter per Lacey, and she married Shane without telling John. So now she's back with John, telling Shane to get out. So Lacey, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then
too
Megan,
much.
Michael, and Sarah. All I want to know is... I said Megan, Michael, and Sarah. Sorry. Goodbye, Megan. It's Maria.
Well, Megan, I think, is going to be on next week, so we could talk about it next week's wrap-up.
But Megan, she's clearly a non-factor anymore. It's Maria, Michael, and Sarah. We done switched out to M's. But my thing is, Sarah, did you really think he was going to get in the car with you? With this whole girlfriend right there? Just because you're his wife? I just want to know.
Of course she did. Of course she did. Sarah thinks, in my opinion only, she still has some pull with Michael just because she's the baby mom's.
No, the wife.
Excuse me, you're correct. The wife. And sometimes people, even though they're not together, but they're still married, feel that they still have that type of pull. And yeah, Sarah thought so. Of course she did.
I was like, unbelievable. Like, no.
My thing was, Maria was like, see you in court, boo-boo. See, that right there would have had me running back to Maria. I shouldn't have said that, but it would have. Like, who are you talking to? What I didn't like about Michael was not only is he a hothead, and I happen to know one, that would be your brother. But they're the same age, too. Anyway, is that he, in my opinion, didn't take control of the situation. He should have separated Sarah and then asked Maria, escorted her back into the room, told her, I'll be right back, let me talk to Sarah separately.
That wasn't going to happen.
Because that going back and forth, well, Sarah wasn't out of control. Maria was. Like, know your role.
Yeah, but then if Sarah saw Michael pulling back Maria, Sarah would have been like, what about our kids? You were supposed to be there. She would have kept egging it on. So there really wasn't no diffusing the situation, to be honest with you.
Okay. I'll roll with that.
In my perspective. Stuff like that. I mean, yeah. Should he have done what he said he was going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have.
But should Sarah know his motto by now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She should have. Don't it sound like a broken record?
So she should have, using her little black scent, trying to get all hood on Maria, because Maria was definitely bringing the heat. That weren't going to do nothing. That weren't going to stop nothing. What else happened on the show?
Your boy Clint and his wife Tracy.
Lordness Jesus.
You know what?
They just, honestly, whenever...
They need rehab. They both need, not just Tracy, Clint and Tracy both need rehab. Because you can't tell me that Clint doesn't know Tracy uses, because he does. Because he even lets his mom know.
He called her a crack addict.
I know. But here's the thing. When he was like hitting himself in the face, I thought when he was hitting himself in the face that he was going to call it a domestic thing. Because I heard people do stuff like that. But he picked up the phone and was like, call. Because remember, Tracy was like, who you calling, the police? Next thing you know, he's like, Mom. I said, Mom? Mom? You called your mom in the middle for what? So she could hear you?
Answer? Would you
Well,
you
I
probably
see-
would have answered, but would you stay on the line?
No. Because I knew why you was going over there anyways, because you just at my house. No, I wouldn't have. You or your brother, don't call me behind nothing like that when you are with someone who is a known user.
But my thing is, with these shows, whenever they have people who are on drugs like that, I feel like it's kind of cruel to be like filming them.
Yeah, like, because Tracy really needs an intervention. And there's been some things since the show that's happened. Mm-hmm. You know, where she won some money at the casino, like $14,000. We touched on she was hit with a DWI. All that.
Because while they're on the show, and it's not just this show, it's like multiple shows, you're still paying them. And you're paying them and are using this money for their habits, you know? So it's only enabling them even more.
Yeah, because their scene is entertainment because they both need
It's
intervention and they both need rehab.
There's difference between entertainment and exploitation, and that falls in the line.
Exploitation.
You know what I meant. It fell on the line of exploitation, you know?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really feeling that. That's why I'm just like, get them off my screen.
Yeah.
Like now. And if they don't want to get help, then they just need to find something else to do. Because if you're being entertained by this, let me know why in the comments down below. Because I don't see
It's hard to watch. Even when I look at reviews on people who review that show, even in the comments about that, most people talk about how it's sad about that. And it is because, anyways, other people on the show are Marcelino and Brittany. They do live here. I'm still waiting to see y'all. I don't know. They didn't really have too much drama. I think they had a misunderstanding. And they came back together at the end, so.
Mm-hmm. Marcelino was looking good.
Yes, he was.
was like,
yes, he
hold on. Brittany?
But then I remembered, you know what?
He was looking good. And I believed him, too, when he apologized.
I did. Because he also had a history previously of being extra. But I believed him that time. He looked real sincere with the things he was saying, so.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Did we touch on that? Shane, Lacey, Marcelino, Brittany.
I think that was all that was on there.
You sure?
Yeah, I didn't see Andrea on there.
Good. They'll be back next week, I'm sure.
And the other girl that's with that bank robber dude, they not together
I'm glad
more,
they took them off. That was not entertaining either.
It wasn't.
So.
Anyways, moving on to Bride and Prejudice. Now, this is something that I think I might make a review on. Because
let me know.
they're kind of interesting, especially Blair's mom. Because we got a few bombs dropped on us. That one, Chris, his parents just divorced like a year ago. So it's kind of like, well, how is your relationship strange from your mom? It just happened a year ago.
Yeah.
But I believe he said something along the lines of like, oh, you know, his mom didn't want him to talk to his dad. So, you know, still kind of touchy subject. But when Chris met up with Blair's mom, they were talking and he was like, well, you know, you don't really like my bald head. You don't like my tattoos. You don't like my motorcycles. Like, what's the problem? And she just keeps going back to the, you know,
the North Korean,
communists and all the other stuff. And he's just like, I don't understand why it's a problem. Like, if we had a child, you're not going to want us to have one because it's not going to look like you. She's basically like, yeah, that's basically where she went with it. And it was like, you know, I was always felt so bad about people having tattoos because their dad had a tattoo because he was in the Marines. And he said he always regretted it. So that was like her issue with it. But then we found out that Blair's mom, her husband is African American. Now, when they first did it, it sounded like they said African American, and they showed the pictures, and I'm like, from East Africa? Because that's not down there. But then I put the captions on and said Afghan. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense now. And then Blair was talking about, you know, it's kind of weird to me because when I was growing up, especially after 9/11, people would like judge me because they thought I came from a terrorist household, you know, around those lines. But then she was like, so ask her mom, so like, what's the difference? And her mom was basically like, you know, I just don't want you to go through certain struggles because my family didn't accept it. But she was like, but you're basically doing the same thing to me.
Exactly.
And then her mom got up and walked away. She's like, you will not point me out as a racist.
Too late.
Like,
because,
I feel like you put yourself out as a racist.
Exactly. Too late. And not just this episode, the previous ones too. You told the man and your daughter that you didn't want a child, if they had a child, to look like him. You didn't want brown skin, nothing. That you want that baby to look like you. So looking like you without saying it means what? Caucasian.
Right, but then Blair was like, well, what if we adopt a like black child? Are you gonna like be upset about that? But she was like, me and my husband thought about adopting. Like,
she didn't ask the question. She said a black child.
Talking about you,
right?
You know, so Blair's mom is a trip, and you know, when I was watching this episode, you might disagree with me.
We'll see.
I was kind of like Blair's mom and Willie's dad. They're kind of on the same wavelength. Even though it's not about race, it's still about religion. And that falls under the prejudice guidelines.
I do.
I might be reaching a little bit, but that's just how I felt.
No, I do agree with you. But Willie's dad is solely, and her mom is solely based on, we're Jewish. I want you, the kids to be Jewish. I want him to convert. Period. That is a form of racism when they know this man who's been dating their daughter for the last 4 to 5 years and has lived with you for 2. They know he's Christian. They know this already. They are determined to make him convert now that they're getting serious about being married. This is not brand new.
Right.
Versus the other lady, she is basing hers solely off of race, but she's saying it. So whether it's off of race or religion, it's still a form of prejudice. And I do agree with you.
I'm shocked. I didn't think he was.
Why? Because they're both bold in your face. Her mom is like, no, if the baby's brown, she don't want a brown baby. But your husband's brown. He's Afghan. Okay? And the Willie's family, mom and dad, said they straight out said, I want the baby to be raised Jewish and we want him to convert. That's prejudice on both angles.
Yeah, but as we saw when they finally did the task, because at first they didn't do the task, and Pastor Cal was like, you need to do the task. That's why you want the show. And so we found out when they were listing their 5 priorities, Willie listed religion to be like a 3rd, like in the middle.
Yeah.
And then Cameron listed religion to be 4th.
4th?
4th. It was 4th.
Oh, because kids was 5?
Finances was 5. They both agreed on finances.
Okay.
Kids for him was 3. Willie believed that kids was number 1.
Oh, okay. Had it backwards. Sorry.
So when she told this to her family, her dad got really upset and walked away. Like,
yeah, because of what I just said. The forefront.
Right.
That's still racist, regardless of you based on race, religion, color, or creed. So.
But Cameron's parents and his sister, they didn't really seem like they were like, oh, gun hold on them. They need to be Christian. But they were like, you know, I do want... She was like, well, the sister was like, oh, you know, I want...
You said Willie's parents.
I said Cameron.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oops.
Cameron.
My bad.
Parents and sister.
Okay. I was
stuck
on
gun hold. Anyways, Cameron's mom and sister was basically like, you know, they do want them to still, his nieces, potential nieces and nephews, grandchildren, whatever, to have Christmas and stuff. But they didn't seem like they were like, oh, well, they need to be Christian.
No, they weren't like that.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because I wonder if, since Willie listed her religion as like a 3rd priority, if she's going to be like, you know, I'm still going to be with you even though you don't want to convert to Judaism, or if that's going to be like the flat out bottom line.
I don't know. I just think her family has a lot of influence on her. I do. And I don't know. That's very interesting because her dad runs the show.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then for the last couple, Kareem. There we go. It rhymes. Cameron and Kareem.
Okay.
And Kiki. So Cameron's mom, Kareem's mom. I'm gonna get this. Kareem's mom also feels like he shouldn't be getting married right now because he's too young.
Well, both mothers don't want them to get
But
married.
we're only talking about his mom.
Oh, okay.
In this episode.
1 at a time.
No, in this episode, it's just his mom.
Oh, okay.
His mom doesn't think he should get married because, he's still young.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of bases this off of like, I got married at 22. I know how hard it was, that it didn't work out and stuff. And she has a kid. And then he was like, well, her son, loves me, adores me, cuddles with me, wants to look like me, dress like me, looks up to me. And, he then eventually drops the bomb and was like, I want to adopt him. And this made his mom cry because I feel like she was crying not because she was sad or like because she doesn't want them to get married. Mm-hmm. It's just all the responsibility that's going to come with this. And what if this actually doesn't work out? All the extra steps and processes that you're going to have to eventually go through because she did end up wanting to adopt his kid. Not saying that it's not going to work or even if it doesn't work that he's not going to be there for the child. But,
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a big step and hurdle,
I do know.
Do you know?
But I can agree with his mom. He is young. I know. Before you say how old was I before I got married. He is young. And taking along responsibilities that's not necessarily yours is admirable. But at the same time, it is a lot. And he needs to be in the understanding of if you do this, you need to be in it for the long haul. And the same thing for Kiki. They need to be in it for the long haul. Because you just don't. Again, when you have young kids, you just don't bring anybody into relationships to come in and out, because those kids do get attached. They do. So I think that's another reason why his mom was upset, because she did say that she loved the little boy too, and it's a hard pill to swallow when your kids are young and they're taking on more responsibility than they should right now. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go with that. I know.
Because I don't know. I'm 23 years old. Even though I'm not in a relationship or nothing, but if I was in a committed relationship with someone who had a child, I don't know if I would be willing to be like, oh yeah, I want to adopt your child right now.
I mean, but where did they say where his dad was? Is he still?
No, they didn't say. Oh. Not on this episode. Maybe on a previous episode, and I just missed it. Mm-hmm. But it's usually when people want to adopt the child, the father's not in the life.
I know, but it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. I mean, the child has to be with the mom or with the dad or whoever has the custody, and the other parent has to seriously either not be in the picture for whether it be abandonment, death, prison, or something, or they just gave up on the child. You just can't be like, oh, okay, I just want to adopt little so and so. You just can't do that. Mm-hmm. There's a process to that. So, well,
yeah, well, we just have to keep seeing on these shows, episode, and that's pretty much all that we're going to talk about on this little weekly wrap up, a sip and chat, breathe and queering. I don't know.
We'll come up with something.
But definitely let us know in the comments down below what other topics for next week you want us to talk about, different shows. We are definitely open to watch different shows, even on Netflix. I might even make a Netflix playlist because, people just gonna be in the house for a minute, and we gonna need some shows to watch, and we gonna be here to talk about it and all that other stuff. So we definitely have different video ideas coming to the channel. Yeah. I definitely want to do a little chat talk with my mom.
Oh, man.
Talk about something like a topic, like a single mom's topic or dating your 40s topic.
Oh, why'd you go back like that in your 40s? It's been very interesting, I will say. Being in your 40s and dating, while they hit you younger, they hit you older. and both are a trip. So
something along those lines. But thank you guys for watching this video and watching our other videos. We really appreciate all the love that's been coming our way, all the comments. We definitely read all the comments.
Definitely.
And if you want to leave some ideas, suggestions, you can do them down in the comments below. Or our Instagram, which I'm going to put right here. We definitely will follow you back because we want to see what you guys look like. You know, we want to engage. You see what we look like.
I know.
So once again, thank you. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week.
And as always, live simply, be grateful.